Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shahbaz Bhatti Memorial Dinner. Many of you would be familiar with me being the MC for the 10th, 20th time. I've told Shahbaz I've told Peter it's about time that he finds someone else. But it's a pleasure to be back, and I want to welcome you here on behalf of the organizing committee. We're here today because we want a world in which people of faiths can live in freedom and equality. We are here today because we want people of all faiths to live in a world with fairness and equality, and this is the vision of the International Christian Voice. This vision is a vision that's being implemented and driven by the ICV on a number of fronts for over 24 years. A round of applause for the great work that the International Christian Voice is doing. But I want to say thank you for coming out, supporting ICV, and for supporting the many initiatives that they're undertaking, and for the great number of people that they have brought here to Canada through your generosity. So thank you very much. So we gather here today for a particular purpose. And I want each one of you to remind yourselves, why am I here? You and I are here primarily to remember the martyrdom of Shahbaz Bhatti and remind ourselves, what exactly did Shahbaz do for us? He paid the significant price of having himself lay his life on the line to protect religious minorities. Like all gatherings, we must invoke the name of our Lord, and to have an opening prayer, I will invite David Carter, Senior Pastor at the Granby Baptist Church, to do the opening prayer.
Well, let's bow our heads and pray together. Father, we just want to pause in this moment and recognize your presence here with us this evening. We want to pause and just remember the life and be grateful for the life of Shahbaz Bhatti.
And I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saldana, for that rousing introduction. And to all the people in the back, shout out to you guys. Well, good evening, everyone. I want to start by thanking the organizers and the volunteers of International Christian Voice for all your efforts in organizing this year's fundraiser gala. We're here for persecuted refugees, and I want to thank you all for making this event a huge success. I think this is definitely the biggest one we've seen so far, so thank you all for being here. I know from a lifetime of experience growing up in the world of ICV that there's a lot that goes behind the scenes in organizing an event like this and bringing all of these people together. So I'm grateful to the committee, the organizing committee, that has I've been working around the clock, around the year, to make sure that this event goes on. I also want to thank our guest speakers, the parliamentarians, public figures, and faith community leaders who have taken their time to join us today and for sharing their valuable insights and for honoring the memory of my Uncle Shahbaz Bhatti. And finally, I want to thank each and every one of you who has taken the time out of your weekend and shown your eagerness to assist the most vulnerable around the world who are suffering daily because of their religious faith. As I look around the room today, I see people from various faith and ethnic and cultural backgrounds. And it's always encouraging for me to be in a room like this because it shows me that we all have a common interest. We have a common purpose as Canadians to highlight the injustices that are going on around the world and to join hands together to find solutions to them. Now, I'm here today speaking not only as a political or legal advocate, but as someone who grew up hearing stories of religious persecution. As many of you already know, my family comes from a small Christian village in the Punjab region of Pakistan, which was settled by Catholic missionaries in the 19th century. The village has been known for decades as a bastion of religious harmony and interfaith unity in what is otherwise an extremely hostile and volatile environment for people who belong to religious minority communities. And I know many of those who come from that kind of a background are in this room today. Now, I was blessed with the distinct opportunity to have been raised in Canada, but the ongoing situation in my country of origin was always a topic of conversation at our dinner table. Stories of churches being ransacked and burned to the ground, Ahmadiyya mosques being attacked by suicide bombers, and Hindu and Sikh temples being desecrated and destroyed. These stories were commonplace in my household. And while hearing these stories from the comfort of Canada still invoked a deep sense of discomfort in me, they at times felt like distant occurrences that had very little bearing on me or on my life. And I know that's how many other Canadians might also be feeling as we think passively that someone else, somewhere else, might be willing to address and take on these challenges, and that they're too big or too distant for us to take on. But I'm here this evening to share that it is within our grasp and our humble power as Canadians to affect the change that we hope and pray to see, regardless of the size or the scope of the many challenges that stand in our way. I hope that we can all leave here this evening with a renewed sense of encouragement and hope to each do our part in our own unique ways to defend the most basic rights and freedoms of all people everywhere. And I hope you can all pledge without reservation to join us in this movement to restore Canada's reputation as a global leader in the fight for protecting and defending religious freedom. May God keep our land glorious and free so that we may share His glory and the freedom that He intended for all His children in every corner of the world, for everyone, everywhere. Thank you very much.
I'm Parliament's rookie. I was elected in July last year, and I bring greetings to you from the leader of His Majesty's official opposition, Pierre Poilievre. Shahbaz Bhatti, assassinated by terrorists for his principled defense of Pakistan's minorities, is a tower of light in an ocean of darkness. He expected to be killed. He asked for nothing more than for the work to continue and for his family to be protected. It is such an honor to join Shahbaz Bhatti's memorial, to see my friend Peter Bhatti continue on the work that you have at International Christian Voice. I'm a Bengali member of Parliament with a Hindu tradition and a Christian confession, and I am so honored to be here with so many Christians and people of various faiths in defense of our freedoms. So, now I have to do my job. Let me introduce some comments from Pierre Poilievre. On behalf of Canada's Common Sense Conservatives, I want to offer my best wishes to everyone gathering for the 2024 Shahbaz Bhatti Memorial Fundraiser Dinner. For 8 years, this event has faithfully honored the legacy of Martyr Shahbaz Bhatti, offering invaluable support to those facing religious persecution around the world. Through your work, your organization has consistently championed tolerance and peace for all, and helped deliver countless people to freedom here in Canada. Canada is proud to be a defender of freedom around the world. Today, more than ever, as tyrants and authoritarian regimes threaten democracy and human rights, we must strive to uphold the values that have made our country so great and inspired millions of people to seek refuge in our shores. Conservatives will always stand up for oppressed religious minorities around the world. Here at home, we will ensure that Canada remains a safe haven for all people to practice their religion in peace and security without fear of violence. By working with organizations like yours, we will bring home the country we know and love, a place where people from all backgrounds, all religions, all faiths, all walks of life can build a life and thrive here in the freest country on earth. Let's bring it home. Thank you very much. Very honored to be with you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Saldana, esteemed clergy, representatives of the community, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a tremendous honor for me to be here tonight with you. Tonight I want to tell you, personally, on behalf of our government as well, this must end, and we must, each one of us, commit every day, every week, every month, and every year to ensure the freedom of every living person. Every soul needs to have their religion respected, their human rights respected, and their very being as a human being respected. And tonight I am so pleased that every one of you is here doing two things: honoring the memory of a martyr, making sure that that memory is alive every day, but also committing and recommitting ourselves to the work that he was doing as Pakistan's Minister for Minorities. He stood up. He was quietly assertive. He was constant. He was predictable and patient and loving and kind. He was everything that St. Paul talked about in his letters to the Corinthians. Thank you to International Christian Voice. Thank you to those of you who are friends and allies. Continue to do your work. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to be here tonight, and what a phenomenal turnout for this annual Shahbaz Bhatti Memorial Dinner. You know, Peter, the reason we created the park, Shahbaz Bhatti Park in Brampton, is really to be a symbol of religious freedom. And it was said, we want someone who is a hero, someone who had the conviction and courage where they're willing to lose their own life for their principles, to be remembered, to be honored, to be taught. We want the next generation to know that this is a value that we cherish in our country. And I have to say, the International Christian Voice does an incredible job of carrying on that legacy and that critical message. I must also say how commendable it is that you continue to help with Christian refugees coming to Canada facing persecution. I know and I hope there'll be a time when we can help more who are fleeing religious persecution and find that safety in Canada. I know the International Christian Voice has to go through hoops to help those who are fighting for their lives. And I look forward to a day when it's not so difficult. But I know there's a number of speeches tonight. I just want to come as a friend in the city of Brampton to say anything we can do to honor this remarkable legacy. Count us as your fans and admirers on a message that inspires Canadians. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, International Christian Voice.
I'm from Pisahona, like mentioned. My name is, I'm the Member of Parliament for Brampton North. But I bring greetings from the Prime Minister. And I wanted to read the greetings of our Prime Minister here tonight. So the Prime Minister is also, I have shared some thoughts with him about the work that Shahbaz Bhatti did. And since 2011, we are unfortunate to no longer have Shahbaz Bhatti in our lives. But his memory will always live on, and I think we are learning from his life. So these are the words of the Prime Minister tonight. It is with great honor that I send my warmest greetings for the 2024 Shahbaz Bhatti Memorial Fundraiser. In a country where diversity is our biggest strength, we recognize the importance of organizations that fight for the rights of minority groups, no matter where they are. For 25 years, International Christian Voice has been a steadfast advocate of the fundamental freedoms of religious minorities in Pakistan and around the world. Today, you all gather in the spirit of charity to raise donations for ICB. Your support today will help the organization's effort to privately sponsor refugee families to Canada. ICB's work deserves to be commended, as it helps those most vulnerable find safety and a new home in our great country. I would like to thank those at ICB for organizing today's fundraiser. I wish the organization continued success in its advocacy and reunification efforts. Please accept my very best wishes, signed Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau. And I'd like Peter to